So now our next theory is application of steady flow energy equation for steady flow processes, in which we are going to take various engineering applications. Our first example or application is nozzle and diffuser. So here let's focus on this figure. Here this is a nozzle, in which here first we are having a converging area and then there is a diverging area. This entire nozzle is provided with insulation, so there will not be any form of heat transfer. Here this is the control surface which is defined. So a nozzle is a device which increases the velocity or kinetic energy of fluid. So the task of nozzle is to increase the velocity or kinetic energy of a fluid at the expense of pressure drop. So here the pressure energy is converted into kinetic energy of fluid, whereas the diffuser works exactly opposite to that, in which a diffuser increases the pressure of fluid at the expense of its kinetic energy. Figure shows a nozzle which is insulated. So the steady flow energy equation is given by this formula, and here d cut q upon d tau, that is this term, is 0 because of insulation, and d cut wx upon d tau is also 0 because there is no work output that we get in a nozzle, as well as the change in potential energy is 0. Now why this potential energy change is 0? Let us say that this is an arbitrary line and our two sections, that are section 1 1 are and 2 2 are at this axis. So both the sections are at the same height, that is, this is Z1 and this is Z1. So both are equal, so this will also get vanished. So we are only left with this formula, that is H1 plus V1 square by 2 is equal to H2 plus V2 square by 2. So the continuity equation gives us this formula, that is W is equal to A1 V1 by V1 is equal to A2 V2 by V2. Now the inlet velocity is small compared to V2. So in this case, here V1 is much less than V2. So here, because of that, we can neglect this V1 term in this equation. So this will be neglected in this case. So we are left with the formula, that is H1 equal to H2 plus V2 square by 2. So we can obtain the formula V2 is equal to square root of 2 into H1 minus H2. So by applying the steady flow energy equation, we have obtained the exit velocity V2 of the nozzle, and that is square root of 2 times the enthalpy difference between two sections. So this is the example of nozzle, and here I have also written diffuser. So you can do this by yourself it will be exactly similar to the nozzle theory. Here the only difference is here we are getting pressure energy and at the expense of kinetic energy. So now our next application is throttling device. So let's focus on this figure. Here this is a throttling device in which there is an entry and exit, and in between we are having something a very complicated passage for a fluid which is controlled with this valve. So flow of fluid is controlled through this valve. So here when a fluid flows through a constricted passage like a partially opened valve, an orifice or an porous plug, there is an appreciable drop in the pressure and the flow is said to be throttled. So in this figure, if you see, the fluid passage is like this. The direction is this. Okay, so now you can see that the flow is very complicated over here, and because of this there will be an appreciable drop in the pressure and the flow is said to be throttled. Now the figure shows the process of throttling by a partially opened valve on a fluid flowing in an insulated pipe. The SFEE equation is this, that is our standard equation. Now here few terms are 0. Why? Because here as this entire pipe is insulated, so there will not be any form of heat interaction in this figure. Second is we are not getting any form of work output out of this throttling, so this will also be 0. Now the change in potential energy is 0 again if we take some datum line like this, and this is our center line, then the height is Z1 here and here it is Z2. If you see both are at the same height, so GZ1 will be equal to GZ2. So here this equation reduces to H1 plus V1 square by 2 is equal to H2 plus V2 square by 2. Now often the pipe velocities in throttling are so low that kinetic energy terms are neglected. So here V1 and V2 are neglected because the pipe velocities are very low in comparison with the enthalpies. So in such case H1 will be equal to H2. So here the enthalpy of fluid before throttling is equal to the enthalpy of fluid after throttling. So with application of steady flow energy equation for a throttling device, we come to a conclusion that enthalpy of fluid before throttling is equal to the enthalpy of fluid after throttling. So here this is the end of today's lecture. We will quickly do a revision of what we have done in our today's class. So today we started with this specific heat at constant pressure, which is B del H upon del tau at constant pressure, and we derived formula of that. Then we studied that the energy of isolated system is constant, and then we studied about perpetual motion machine of first kind PMM1, which violates the first law of thermodynamics, and it is imaginary and not possible. Then we started our second chapter, which is first law of thermodynamics applied to flow processes. Here first we discussed about control volume, in which when only the mass most of the engineering devices are open system involving flow of fluids through them. We took an example of a turbine in which we applied we defined the control volume and control surface. There were two approaches, Lagrange method and second was Euler's method, and throughout this chapter we are going to apply the Euler's method. Then we studied about steady flow process. Then mass balance and energy balance in simple steady flow process. We took this example, and these are the nomenclature of it. Then we studied about mass balance, which is W1 is equal to W2 if there is no accumulation of mass within the control volume. And W is written as A into capital V divided by small v. Here capital V is velocity and small v is the specific volume. And this equation is also known as equation of continuity. Then we discussed about energy balance. There are two types of work, external work and flow work. The external work is mainly shear work, and we obtained this formula where Wx is the external work and remaining two terms are the flow work. And we wrote this formula in the rate form. Then we further simplifying this, we were able to obtain this formula, that is first form of steady flow energy equation in rate form, and second we have divided the whole equation with dm upon d tau, and we obtain the second formula. So here these two are important formulas which are steady flow energy equation. Then this is another example in which more than one streams are present. And then we started with nozzle and diffuser. These are applications of SFEE. In case of nozzle, we have obtained the exit velocity V2 given by square root of 2 into H1 minus H2. And then we took an example of throttling device in which applying SFEE we obtained that enthalpy before and after throttling is same. So this is the end of today's lecture. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much. In our common engineering applications, our next example is turbine and compressor. So here we are taking an example of turbine in which, as you can see, here we are having a turbine which is fully insulated. This is the shaft through which we are getting output from the turbine. This is the control volume, and here this is the entry of mass, and here there is an exit of mass. So this dotted line or dotted box is our control surface which defines our control volume, and we are getting work output Wt. Because of insulation, there will not be any form of heat interaction in this device. Now, turbines and engine give positive power output, whereas compressor and pumps require input. So there are two types of devices in engineering. First is power providing power generating devices, and second is power consuming devices. So turbines and engine are power producing devices, whereas compressor and pumps are power consuming devices. Now, for turbine which is insulated, the flow velocities are small, so the kinetic energy terms are neglected. So this is our first assumption, that here as flow velocities are small, because of that the kinetic energy term will be neglected in our analysis, and as it is written that the turbine is insulated, there will not be any kind of heat transfer to or from the system. Now the SFEE equation is this, that is V1 square by 2 plus GZ1 plus H1 plus d cut q upon d tau is equal to V2 square by 2 plus GZ2 plus H2 plus d cut Wx by d tau. So here this is our general equation, and now for this case of turbine we are going to neglect the potential energy term, that is GZ1 and GZ2 will be neglected. Then kinetic energy term, that is V1 square by 2 and V2 square by 2 will be neglected, and heat interaction will be neglected because of insulation, so we will not consider this term. Okay, so as you can see, the remaining terms will be our SFEE for this case, in which we are having here we are having H1 is equal to H2 plus d cut Wx over d tau, or if we integrate this, that is if we don't take this in differential form, we can directly write down in this way, that dWx divided by m is equal to H1 minus H2. Here actually it should be in mass terms, so this equation is in the rate form. However, we are going to utilize the equation in the per unit mass form, so this will be m. So let me edit this. So the mass term equation, let me write down that. So here in our steady flow energy equation, we are going to utilize this formula, that is per unit mass. So here we can come back to this case in which we will be putting this formula. Now this looks okay. And once we take the full form, that is, instead of differentiation we take the total work output, then we can write down in this way, which is equal to H1 minus H2. And then it is seen that the work is done by the fluid at the expense of its enthalpy. So what is the meaning of this? Here when the fluid was entering into the turbine, it was at high enthalpy. It was at high enthalpy, and once it is leaving this turbine, it is at low enthalpy. So because of this reduction in enthalpy, we are getting this work output. Okay, so now similarly, for an adiabatic pump or compressor which is completely reverse of turbine, work is done upon the fluid and W is negative. So SFEE is given by this formula, in which if you see here it is as it is, only the difference is the negative sign is coming, because in case of adiabatic pump or compressor, the work is done on the system, and when the work is done on the system, the term negative comes here. Okay. So this is the final formula in case of pump or compressor. So figure is not drawn here for compressor, however it can be in this shape, where here it will be entry and here it will be the exit of fluid, and this compressor is being run through a shaft, that is the energy input or work input to this compressor. So W will be like this. Okay, so it will be completely very similar to this with only this difference, and obviously insulation will be present over here. So here the enthalpy of the fluid increases by amount of work input. So here we are providing work input, because of that the enthalpy of fluid increases in case of compressor or pump. Now our next example is heat exchanger. So here this is the example of heat exchanger, which is steam condenser. So if you see in this figure, this is the cooling water which is entering this steam condenser. This cooling water passes through these tubes. Okay, and here from the top, as you can see here, the steam is coming, and the steam is passing through the shell. It is not inside the tubes, it is inside in the shell. So this steam is coming down, and because of this cooling water, this steam will get condensed, that is the steam will get converted into water. So here we are collecting the water which is from the steam, and this cooling water will get heated through these pipes and cooling water will come out. So if you see if we need to show the flow of hot and cold, then this is the steam which is hot, and here we are getting this output, and the cold fluid which is water is passing through this pipes. And it is leaving here. So a heat exchanger is a device in which heat is transferred from one fluid to another fluid. So here in this case there is an exchange of heat between the steam and this cooling water. Figure shows a steam condenser where the steam condenses. Let me remind you, we have already seen latent heat of condensation or latent heat of vaporization, where in this case condensation means conversion of steam into water. Okay, or in this figure this water is called as condensate. Okay, so this steam condenses outside the tubes and cooling water flows through the tubes. The SFEE for CS means control surface, is given by this formula. So this is not the general formula that we were having in our previous lecture. If you see carefully, here we are having total 4 sections. Section 1, that is over here, through which cooling water is entering. Here this is the section 2, the place where the steam is entering. So these two are entry points. So this is entry and this is also entry, and here this is exit of steam, and here so here let me repeat this part, that here the SFEE is given by this formula, because here we have 2 entries. That is, first is entry of cooling water and here the entry of steam. So this will be the entry, and here this will also be entry, and here this is the exit of cooling water, that is over here at section 3.3. So this is exit and this is also exit. So if you see on the left hand side we are having WC, that is the cooling water, into H1, that is the enthalpy at section 1. That is our first entry part. Second term is here, in which this is WS, that is steam, and it is having enthalpy of H2. So the total energy entering into this control volume is equal to the total energy which is leaving this control volume. So here we are having, this is condensate, so WC into H3. Sorry, here the C stands for cooling water, so here this is WC cooling water, so WC into H3 plus this is WS plus H4. And here the kinetic energy and potential energy terms are small, as well as there is no external work done in this system, as well as the energy exchange in form of heat is confined only between two fluids. So whatever heat exchange is happening, it is happening between these two fluids. So there is no separate D cut Q, or there is no entry of such kind of heat. So there is no external heat interaction or heat loss. So these things are not present in this case. So now we are also studying the another example of heat exchanger, which is steam desuperheater. So here, if you see, from the top high temperature steam is entering, and we need to cool this steam. So that's why we are using water here, and this water is coming from this path and it is getting mixed with this steam, and then it is coming out here, which is low temperature steam. So there are two entries. First is section 1 is the entry of water and its mass flow rate is W1, and here the second entry is of high temperature steam, which is W2, which is coming from the top. And here there is an exit, one exit, which is at section 3.3, which is W3 mass flow rate, and it is low temperature steam coming out. So this is called as steam desuperheater. Figure shows a steam desuperheater where the temperature of superheated steam is reduced by spraying a water. Now W1, W2 and W3 are mass flow rate of injected water. So first is the W1 is mass flow rate of injected water, that is this. W2 is of steam entering, that is this. And W3 is of steam leaving here, so this is W3. And H1, H2 and H3 are corresponding enthalpies, and if kinetic and potential energy terms are neglected as before, the steady flow equation can be written in this way. So as you can see, this is the entry, this is also entry. So W1 H1 plus W2 H2 is equal to W3 H3. And the mass balance is given by this formula, that is W1 plus W2 is equal to W3. Here kinetic energy and potential energy terms are considered small. There is no external work. The energy exchange in form of heat is confined only between two fluids. So whatever heat interaction is happening is between this steam and water, and there is no external heat interaction or heat loss. Now our next topic is variable flow process.